Happiness through curiosity on the Ranveer Show. Can you explain ADHD from a medical perspective?
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's one of the most common childhood psychiatry disorders that is there.
What happens when you're diagnosing someone, when you're trying to figure?
So, attention deficit hyperactivity. Let's look at these two components. Attention deficit. Simple meaning I am not able to sustain my attention on a particular stimulus for a significant period in time, causing impairment in my functioning. Simply, so if I am, let's say, attending a classroom, I don't even realize when my concentration goes from the teacher and it goes outside the window and I'm daydreaming or I'm lost in my thoughts, or I am reading a paper, a question paper, and I do not notice question number 2 and I go on 3, or I leave something incomplete. I didn't realize I have not added the last line or 2 and I move forward. So my attention span is less. So I'm not able to finish one particular task. So I will be forgetting things. I will be having incomplete work. I'll be making more careless mistakes, as they are called, and that's why I said if somebody makes more mistakes, look at why, rather than just using a word careless mistake, so on and so forth. So attention aspect. Then the hyperactivity aspect. Hyperactivity and impulsivity together.
You know, a lot of people self-diagnose themselves with ADHD and use all these things as excuses to let go of responsibilities. That, oh yeah, I have ADHD, that's why I forgot. Oh, I have ADHD, that's why I can't listen to you well. It's not like that.
So I have, my opinion is very simple on this. Using mental illnesses both as slurs or as explanation of behavior is, I think, unfortunate, and it's a violation of empathy and human rights.
Self-diagnosis is an infection.
Yes, self-diagnose is very, very infectious in its own way, because it is also something that we copy from each other, but more importantly, it's an infection that is given to us by our phone because of the sheer access.
How do you, as a medical professional, diagnose ADHD?
Again, you'll have to understand this very simply, and not just for specific illnesses. Let's understand for mental illness per se.
Sure.
You are looking at a durational change, which means pervasive, consistent pattern of symptoms. Then symptom category, which would based on the illness, but otherwise symptoms can be either on your mood, sadness, anger, outbursts. It can be on your thoughts, positive thinking, negative thinking things which are not right. I had mentioned delusions earlier. Then you look at the behavioral component. You look at the social component, the relationship aspect. You look at your basic aspects of day-to-day living, which would be sleep, appetite, weight, right? So if you feel that there is an imbalance or a change happening in any of these categories consistently, causing impairment in your functionality, that's how the illness is an illness. Certain illnesses also have some standardized tests available. Those tests are done typically by clinical psychologists, and they are tests. Not all people need tests. Not all people need questionnaires. Some of these questionnaires are used at times to map the treatment, recovery, to understand the baseline. A lot of times they may not be needed. So one needs to look at, and it's also about severity, which means the level of functional impairment. That is severity. It means if it's mild, I will probably not give you medication, and we'll probably look at what aspects of cognitive, behavioral, the neurocognitive retraining component that can be done. If you have moderate to severe, I may decide to also use medications. If you have severe, I'll probably definitely give you medication, unless there is something other which, because of which reason I'm not able to give, a comorbidity or a medical problem, that I may decide not to give it.
with adult ADHD especially, how does it impair the nature of your life if it's actually ADHD?
So it'll affect the quality of your work for sure.
You won't be able to perform professionally.
Yes. You'll be performing below par or below your ability at a consistent level, and or you will also take a lot more time and energy to be able to function at the level which is expected as compared to others. You may struggle in your relationships because of ADHD as well,
Why?
because of multiple reasons. The attention deficit component affecting your communication, at times the hyperactive impulsive component bringing out more outbursts. That may also happen, and both of them could happen. And you're always so under pressure and drained, both because the basic aspects of life that you need to be doing and you are doing are taking so much out of you.
It's tiring.
Yes, it's extremely tiring.
Physically and mentally tiring.
Yes, it is. It is tiring, and that's the unseen and the silent component of mental illnesses per se. You see fever, you measure it. You see pain, you get it. You see a swelling, you understand. But most people who have a mental ailment, you don't see it, so you just end up giving them gyan that, go run, go jog, go do this, do that. It's not. That's a problem. Millions of people struggle in silence across the globe because of the stigma, because of the stereotypy. Millions.
Okay. If you enjoyed this clip from the Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.